Sitting on the floor, upright. Roll the shoulder toward the back very nicely and then toward the front. Shoulder down, far from the ears. Bring the right hand onto the floor, just the fingertips so the arm is straight. The left hand on top of the head, on the crown, and very nicely bend the head toward the left. So nice stretch through the neck, toward down to the right arm. Release your head very nicely and slowly, and bring the left arm onto the floor, so the hand and the right hand on top of the head. So right side bend, so nice stretch towards the neck and left arm. Very nicely release your head and bring the hand onto the knee. The right hand behind you, the left hand toward the sky, twist toward the right, the left hand on top of the right knee. Looking toward the front on the inhale, release the pose. The left hand behind you, inhale the right hand toward the sky, exhale, twist toward the left, the right hand on top of the left knee. Inhale, looking towards the front, release your pose. And again, the right hand behind you, inhale the left hand toward the sky, exhale, twist toward the right, the left hand on top of the right knee. Inhale, looking toward the front, release the pose. The left hand behind you, inhale the right hand toward the sky, and exhale, twist toward the left, right hand on top of the left knee. Inhale, looking toward the front, exhale, release. Both hands in front of you, come into a tabletop position, the knee in line with the hips and the wrist in line with the shoulder. Avoid sinking your shoulder toward the floor, but pushing the floor away, so shoulder blades apart. Inhale, curving the lower back, and exhale, rounding the upper back. Inhale, looking toward the sky. Exhale, pushing, rounding the back, looking through the knee. Inhale, rounding, curving the lower back, and exhale, rounding the upper back. Inhale, working the spine, feeling the spine, and exhale. Turn the toes. Inhale, knee off the floor, and exhale, push the hips towards the sky. So you may want to bend the knee one by one, still breathing in and out through the nose. And flat onto the floor, bend the knee, pushing the floor away, and start to walk toward the front. Feet slightly between your hands. You may want to bend the knee, grab the elbow from side to side in each hand, and start to just balance from side to side, from right to left, very nicely and slowly. Release your hand onto the floor, and on the inhale, and roll the spine. The head be the last one to stand straight. Feet together. Come in front of the mat, slightly inhale. Arms up toward the sky, looking through the thumb. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. You may want to bend the knee. Inhale, looking straight, finger onto the floor or maybe onto the chin. The back is straight. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, you come into a plank position, strong plank. Exhale, the knee and chest, chin onto the floor. Inhale, slide forward. Cobra. Exhale, tug the toes, pushing the hips towards the sky. Heel towards the floor, pressing the hands onto the floor, spreading the fingers. On the next exhale, bend the knee very slowly. Start to step toward the front, feet between the hands, fingertips onto the chin. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, come all the way up, arms toward the sky. Exhale, prayer position in front of the heart center. Inhale, arms up toward the sky, looking through the thumb. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. Inhale, fingertips onto the floor, the back is straight. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, chin, chest toward the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tug the toes and hips towards the sky. Pressing your hand onto the floor, the fingers are spread. You might want to microbend slightly the knee, the sitting bone toward the sky. And on the next exhale, bend the knee, step to the front or jump to the front. Fingertips onto the floor. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, come all the way up, arms toward the sky. Exhale, prayer position in front of the heart center. The last one, inhale, arms up toward the sky. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. Inhale, fingertips looks forward onto the chin. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, come into a plank position. Exhale, your full Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Still breathing through the nose and exhale through the nose. Press on the pinky finger, pushing the floor away and bring the heel towards the floor. On the next exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, step to the front, feet between your hands, fingertips. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, come all the way up, looking through the sky. Exhale, prayer position in front of the heart center. That was Surya Namaskara A. In preparation for Surya Namaskara B, salutation to the sun. On the inhale, come into a chair pose. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. Inhale, hands onto the chin looking forward. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog, pushing the floor away with your hands. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the right legs toward the sky. Exhale, the right foot toward the front. And the left foot flat onto the floor. Inhale, arms up toward the sky. The right foot, right knee slightly on the outside. Exhale, hands onto the floor. Flat. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the left foot toward the sky. Exhale, the left foot towards the front. Knee in line with your ankle. Inhale. Warrior one. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Elbow squeeze towards the inhale and exhale, down dog. pushing the floor away with your hands and heel towards the floor here. Sitting bone toward the sky. Imagine you are a V, inversion V. So try to have a nice position of the back, flat. On the next exhale, bend the knee, inhale, look forward, step to the front, jump to the front, both feet towards the front. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, bend the knee, come into a chair pose position. Exhale, upright with and position. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the left leg toward the sky. Exhale, the left foot toward the front. Inhale, come into a warrior one. Knee and exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbow towards the ribs. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the right foot toward the sky. Exhale, right foot toward the front. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale and flat toward the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog and exhale, down dog. This is your break. You may want to come into a child pose for a rest, or you have your knee onto the floor and forehead onto the floor. Whenever you're ready, you can come back into a down dog. You bend the knee, look forward. Inhale, step to the front, jump to the front, fingertips, the back is straight. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, bend the knee, come into a chair pose. Exhale, upright and between the heart center. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. Inhale, fingertips with hand on the chin on the floor. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the right leg toward the sky. Exhale, right foot toward the front, left foot flat onto the floor. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg toward the sky. Exhale, left foot toward the front, right foot flat onto the floor. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Exhale, bend the knee, inhale, looks forward, step to the front, jump to the front, both feet between the hand. Exhale and flat onto the floor. Inhale, bend the knee, chair pose and come upright on the exhale. Hand in front of the heart center, prayer position. Prepare for Samatiti, Dandasana, mountain pose. Make sure that the feet are together, the pelvis toward the front and arms alongside the body. Inhale, lift up the toes, spread the toes and bring them back onto the floor. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your exhale, bring the knee toward the middle line of your body. So you bring the shoulder blades together, sole of the foot parallel to the floor. You may want to close the eyes for 1 or 2 breaths. On the next inhale, release the knee and exhale, pushing toward the side. You've got 3 positions here for the 3 pose. Toes onto the floor. First one, second just below the knee, and the third one on the inner thigh. So you engage the glutes. Press the heel onto the inner thigh. You may want to bring your hand into a prayer position. Both legs are strong. You may want to close the eyes for 1 breath or 2 breaths. And very nicely you breathe in and you breathe out. Bring the knee towards the front on the exhale. Bend the left knee and bring the right leg on top of the left, like sitting on the chair. You may want to do the same with your arm. So you bring the left arm under the right arm. That's a bind. You can try, or you can have your hand in prayer position in front of the heart center. Very nicely release your arm and release your legs. Feet flat onto the floor. On the other side, the left one. Inhale. Pelvis toward the front. Exhale. Bend the left knee toward the middle line of your body. Grab the knee. Bring it towards the middle line, belly button. So the shoulder blades are together. Shoulder towards the back. Strong standing legs. Engage the glutes. You may want to close the eyes for 1 or 2 breaths. On the next exhale, release the knee toward the side. Choose your position here. Inner thigh. That was the third one. Second one below the knee. Or the first one, toes onto the floor. Try to have the same position on both sides. Engage the glutes, engage the core, pelvis toward the front. You may want to close the eyes for 1 breath, 2 breaths, and if you fall down, it's okay. Just come back into the position. Bring awareness to the breath. Very nicely release the knee toward the front. Exhale, bend the right knee and wrap up the right leg with the left legs. You may want to bind your arm again. So the right arm under the left and bring the palm of the hands together. Release your hand and release your arm, both feet flat onto the floor. And inhale, arms toward the sky. Exhale, fall forward and flat onto the floor. Inhale, fingertips, the back is straight onto the chin. Exhale and flat. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, so the elbow are touching the ribs slightly. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. You're going to come into a sitting position toward the front. Make sure that you are sitting on your sitting bone. So slightly adjust the way that you are sitting. Make sure that the toes are towards the sky. Strong leg. Try to have the straight leg as much as possible. And toes again toward the sky. And onto the side. Next to the hips. Looking towards the front. Open up the shoulder. Muscles are engaged. Release your pose. Inhale, arms toward the sky. Keep your feet engaged. Exhale, fall forward. The neck is in line with the spine. So you may want to grab your ankles or the big toes with the index and middle finger. So you try to have a straight spine. When you inhale, you going towards the front, toward the toes, and exhale. You fall deeper into the pose. To have your feet engaged, maybe that you want to grab onto the side. To have the neck in line, looking towards the toes or your ankles. On the next inhale, come back straight and bring your hand onto the side. Beyond your forearm and where the elbow are, put your hand, so fingers towards the feet. Bend the knee, ankle in line with the knee and knee in line with your hips. Feet flat onto the floor, and on the inhale you pushing your hips toward the sky. Strong arm, strong hands onto the floor, strong feet. Try to have your feet parallel as much as possible. Squeeze the glutes and engage the legs. Looking through the sky. And on the exhale, bring the hips towards the floor here. You can straight your leg and prepare for round 2. Bend the knee again, make sure that everything is in line. And on the next inhale, pushing the hips towards the sky. Your abs are engaged. Make sure that you really are a reverse tabletop here. And very nicely on the next exhale, bring the hips towards the floor here. Straight up the legs. And you're gonna come laying down onto the floor, back onto the floor. Bring the knees straight away, give them a hug, balance from side to side. Squeeze them. And very nicely bring your arm onto the floor, a cross position. So the palm of the hands onto the floor, you bring the knee towards the right. So the right hand is onto the left knee, you're looking toward the left. A nice stretch for the lower back. That's a position that you can do maybe when you wake up or before to go to bed. Release your hand onto the floor, bring the left knee towards the center, followed by the right, and go straight away onto the other side. The left hand onto the right knee and looking toward the right here. And very nicely release the right knee. Bring everything upright, squeeze the knee toward you. Bring feet onto the floor, go toward the right, and with your left hand start to move. So we're gonna have the legs upright, so this is an alternative to shoulder stand, which is quite nice. Make sure that you're sitting next to the wall, and once you are as much as possible close to the wall, you start to have your leg upright, so make sure that your sitting bone are really touching the wall here. Your legs are straight. Try to have the sole of the feet parallel to the ceiling. Nicely you relax your arm onto the side, so the palm of the hand are facing or are parallel facing the ceiling here, so top of the hands onto the floor. You may want to close the eyes. Bring awareness to the breath, the inflow and outflow. through your body. If you come out of that pose, it's fine. You can either come in a sitting position or straight away going into Shavasana where you're lying down. If you are still with your legs up, again bring awareness to the breath. Start to come out of the pose, bend the knee, go to the left or the right, and prepare yourself to come into a sitting position. If you are lying down, you may want to come up